Time to have Kina Monique talk. Um and I want people to know who I am as an individual, not just as an artist, not just the songs I write. Because, overall, spirituality is the foundation of who I am as a person. And it's at the forefront of the decisions that I make and, the way I live my life. And a lot of times we get hang-ups because, life is trying to get us to peel off layers that no longer serve us. And for me, one of those layers is, understanding what my soul is. The thing that pulls down the lyrics to my words from creation itself. Everything is already happening, everything is, and it just takes us to pull down from it and create what we call art. And that thing called the soul that creates art, that creates the lyrics and put them into a song, and can gather wisdom through circumstances favorable and unfavorable. That is your soul. And looking at television and the music industry and film and all that, it's about giving away that soul. People say selling your soul, people say, things of that nature, but it's giving away that essence that only the creator gave you. And he gave everyone their own unique essence, for their soul, who they are. And it's debated, that I ain't gonna get into that. That's a whole nother topic. But yes, who you are, your soul, your unique footprint in this universe is sacred. And you shouldn't tarnish that or just give it away freely or express it in any fashion without truly showing respect to it. And I grew up in the 90s. I was born in the 80s. And there's a lot of artists that I looked up to and wanted to be like. And then, you always see them as time goes on, they become more and more and more tarnished. And that essence, that gift, that soul that they have gets pushed aside to fulfill another agenda. And then sometimes they're skillful enough to portray it as this evolution of spirit. You know what I'm saying? To make us think that that's the way, forsake your morals, forsake all these things. And I'm not saying that we should all be living by every moral. There are some morals that are helpful to society, and there are some that aren't. But that comes to that discernment of your soul and your spirit to make sure you're doing the right thing. Because the moment you're not doing the right thing, if there is a right or wrong, but the moment that you're doing something against your soul, you always feel it. It'll bother you for some time in your life. So, growing up and seeing that these, artists who are very, very talented get tarnished over time, really, it really takes a toll on your subconscious about, who you really should be. Hey, like, you think, well, that's what everybody's doing to be successful. Maybe it's not that bad after all. And then you get caught up in what we think is wealth. I study a lot of things. I always want to see perspectives of other people, not just myself. And, I look at the lifestyle of millionaires and billionaires, and their thinking is very selfish. They only care about themselves, you know? And that's the complete opposite of what God represents. We're not separate from each other. If anybody else is poor in this world, believe me, you're poor in some other way. And they're poor in spirit, they're poor in soul, they're poor in love, they're poor in those things that keep us connected together. because they choose not to feel or have sympathy or have compassion for anybody. And that's how they get where they are, because they don't give a fuck about anybody else. So now they're rich, they're billionaires because they've forsaken everything to be where they are and continue to do so. And sometimes, we don't realize, as people who, work an everyday job, we have wealth in front of us all the time. And wealth comes from being able to look at our kids, being able to kiss our kids, being able to find love in another human being of the opposite sex, same sex, whatever. Being able to sing, being able to cry, being able to laugh, being able to feel, being able to connect with a stranger you've never met before and have things in common, being able to have relationships without being judged, having friendships without being judged. This is wealth. This is wealth. And these are a lot of the things that billionaires don't even get to experience. And at the end of the day, these are things that I would rather experience than to have every materialistic thing in the world and just be so empty inside. And the reason